Right, hello everyone. I just want to answer a few questions in super quick time. Is the Alpha Omega Trust responsible for distributing the resources and assets of the Avila Trust? Well, my understanding is that Judge Adrian Fons is the fiduciary and in charge of distributing all those funds or managing all those different trusts. And the ones that we are most familiar with and the biggest amount are the Alpha Omega Trusts. So when we talk about it, we can say that the Alpha Omega Trusts, we know that they were deposited in great amounts into every country in 1967 with the 4% interest to be distributed for the upliftment of humanity in 1997. And there's also these other trusts that are also big, but they are not one and the same. So that's that. What is the history of the Avila Trust and its remit to distribute assets? Well, basically, it's like whenever you leave money to in a will or in a trust for a particular purpose. If it's not tied up very carefully, it will fall into the wrong hands. But it was tied up carefully. It was for particular humanitarian projects like shelter, food, prosperity, and for the upliftment of humanity. It was very specific. But what happened was it was borrowed as loans to the World Bank in order to build back after the First World War, and after the 50 years of the loan, it was supposed to be paid back, and not only had it not been paid back, they extended it for another 50 years because there'd been another World War, and you have a situation where they have there is a lot of proof that it has been misused. That loan was mismanaged, and many court orders and agreements that it is time for that to be paid back. And so a portion of that will be for the families to distribute as they see fit or use as they see fit. But the majority of the management of bringing to realization the will of those trusts has been passed to Monetary One, which is Judge Adrian Franz. Are the executive orders on behalf of mankind as beneficiaries? Wow, it is complicated. This idea of executive orders, it's just a way to help co-trustees realize that we're not going to be going in trying to argue again that the money is owed, the assets have to be returned. That is already agreed. But what we're doing is we are giving instruction as co-trustees, as co-executors of these trust funds, giving instruction as to how the courts are to action that return. So it's one thing going, yes, in principle, has to be paid back. But the way that we can structure it is that we give very clear instructions. This is to be paid to them. That is to be released to them. So we're going to do it in that format, and it's it's for specific projects, and also we're getting very clear on what is a justifiable, and what sort of projects will help change the trajectory of industry and preserve human life and all natural life. So can the global banking cartel prevent the processes? Well, they're trying to, and obviously they've ignored their own processes, their own laws. But in a sense, they can't, because it has all been agreed, and So I think it will be a mixture of one of the co-trustees' job is to raise awareness of these funds, of this job that we have of what's that called, auditing, and of claiming all the documentation around exactly where the assets are, what needs to be, and how payments are to be released. So we have to raise the profile in its absolute obvious coherence, already agreed, bring that awareness to all the countries, all the nations, and and uh, and we will find some already that are geared towards stopping this inexorable corporate system, and they will be the ones that will help raise awareness, because they won't want to keep pushing it back under the carpet. So it's going to take some push, but we are not without assistance and within a big movement as well. So I think that's it. There was a question about its relation to Nasara Jasara, but I think that we can keep it clear. These monies are owed to the heirs, and they've already been agreed to be paid back, and we have been given the role to raise awareness and to make sure that we action the repayments, and to distribute it out for humanity, to individuals, and to big projects, and little projects, and certainly do some more due diligence and create a whole new direction for us to go in, which is more in keeping with what human beings want. So that's the plan so far.